Welcome back to the Sooner Saloon. I'm joined by Emerson, Nick. Today we're going to talk about Iowa State versus Oklahoma. Before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you are diehard Sooner fans like us. Oklahoma versus Iowa State. 2-2 Iowa State at 4-0, number 14 Oklahoma. It's going to be in Norman, Oklahoma. Oklahoma opens up as a 20-point favorite. It's going to be on FS1, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Guys, what are you thinking about this? Nick?
Some first thoughts for you. Okay, this is a game that head coach from Iowa State, Matt Campbell, has prepared for since he's been
what he
coaching at
lives for.
Iowa State, fellas. From 2016 to 2021, this is a game that was decided by 10 points or less. A season ago, Oklahoma had the worst, season in 20-plus years, but did a great job preparing for Iowa State, winning by 14 points. So, once again, this season, Iowa State is the typical hog the time of possession, average 21 points a game, with sound, disciplined defense, with a struggling offense this year. This performance is from the OU offense is going to determine the way this game goes, fellas. We can't overlook this team. We can't be ahead of ourselves looking to Texas. Oklahoma can't beat Oklahoma in this game.
I agree. Sooner fans, do not take that line. 21, you're crazy. No, against Iowa State, I agree with Nick. They play good defense. So does Oklahoma this year. It's going to be a defensive battle. Matt Campbell is a good coach. I mean, I will pay an Oklahoma fan $10 to talk some smack to him before the game and try to get in a fight with him like he did last week. Get his mind all out of sorts. But if that doesn't happen, I mean, Matt Campbell, he's a good coach, and he's going to scheme up some things for this Oklahoma offense. Not very impressed with Iowa State's offense. So, like I said, it's going to be a defensive struggle. I would not take that 21, but I do think Oklahoma can win this game. They have better athletes across the board, so it is a trap game. It's right before the Red River, so
Yes,
Oklahoma has to stay
trap
focused.
game. In 2007, Oklahoma went into Boulder, Colorado, and they were undefeated, and they lost to a pretty bad Colorado team right before the Red River Shootout. In 2012, they lost to Kansas State at home right before the freaking Red River Shootout. Guys, Oklahoma tends to do this, okay? We can't. I hope this doesn't happen, but it's very realistic, okay? Of course, this is a new Brent Venables team. This isn't a Lincoln Riley team. This isn't a Bob Stoops team. But holy shit, I'm going to lose my mind if they lose to freaking Iowa State this weekend.
Expect it to be really close in that first half. A defensive battle in that first half.
Yes.
Which punter is going to be better in field position is what I'm thinking it's going to be. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. I agree. I think just getting into the game, going off of last week's game against Oklahoma State, I do not think is a good team. And they were able to get pressure on Iowa State's quarterback with 4 guys. And when they brought pressure and they brought the linebackers or anyone else, they were in his face. So I think with Oklahoma's more athletic players on defense, especially Danny Studsman. I
see what you did there,
right, folks. Yeah, I think they'll be able to get to Iowa State's quarterback, but I mean he can deliver balls with pressure in his face. But you also have to remember one of Oklahoma State's touchdowns last week against Iowa State was busted coverage, and another one their safety just flat up lost his footing and fell, and an Oklahoma State wide receiver was running free, and their quarterback got it to him. So, I think if Oklahoma could play a little bit, they can exploit that definitely if Dylan Gabriel keeps his eyes downfield. But I think Oklahoma's defense can definitely get pressure on him and make things happen.
and we're averaging 310.8 yards allowed on defense. On offense, total yards we're averaging 506.8. Iowa State's averaging 308.3 yards on offense per game, and on defense they're averaging 292.5 yards allowed on defense.
Yeah. Kind of back to Iowa State's offense. It's a really basic offense, guys. They don't have Breece Hall anymore. You know, he's at the New York Jets as their number one running back. They don't have him, and it shows. Their passing offense, you know, it looked good against Oklahoma State, but overall, I don't think it's very good. It's a freshman QB, Rocco Becht. Against Oklahoma State, he did have a good game. He was 27 of 38 for 348 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But here's the thing, fellas. We know Iowa State likes to run the football. It's a running back group led by Eli Sanders. This running back group averaged 2.5 to 3 yards a carry against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is not a very good team, fellas. This OU front should dominate. Pass rush, dominate. Get PJ in there, let him wreak some havoc. OU secondary has impressed me. They looked really good against Cincinnati. You know, from the 4 weeks on, from last week, they've looked really good, been very consistent. We know what we're going to get out of Woody Washington. I love the upcoming future of the secondary. Gentry Williams, he has such elite speed. We've seen good safety play from Billy Bowman and Key Lawrence getting turnovers, getting interceptions. And Peyton Bowen is a new guy who's looked really impressive and made some really big plays as a true freshman. Even Kendall Dolby, Makari Vickers, there's so much depth in that secondary and all around this defense and this team in general. I really like our matchup against that Iowa State offense. I don't think they should score more than 14 points. I think that's a very realistic prediction on that OU defense versus Iowa State offense.
100%.
Yeah. I agree. Like you said, last week against Oklahoma State, who was not very good. Again, neither one of Iowa State's running backs averaged more than 3 yards a carry, and I think Oklahoma can make them one-dimensional. I think they can get after the quarterback once Iowa State is in, those obvious passing downs. Like you said, PJ, Ethan Downs, guys like that, get after him on the edges, and now is the time when Brent Venables, you would think, is going to start to dial up. Not all of it, but he's going to pull some tricks out of his bag. We're in conference play now. So, I think the defensive unit could have a really good game against this Iowa State offense.
Yeah, like I said, fellas, I think it comes down to the Oklahoma offense versus Iowa State defense. How is Oklahoma going to play? Oklahoma can't be Oklahoma. We can't have turnovers. We can't have unnecessary turnovers where the ball gets snapped over our head. Stupid stuff like that is going to keep Iowa State in this game. They play that typical 3-3-5 defense, 3 down linemen, and those guys on the D-line do a really good job at run stopping for 3 down linemen. They cave in really well. I don't like our chances running inside. I think we need to go outside this week. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of green grass to run for our running backs. And our offensive line has to be much more consistent. Whoever we have at running back, I'm confident in. It doesn't matter who we have back there, but they still have to make some guys miss and be a little bit more consistent because we haven't seen that in the first 4 weeks of the season and whoever we've been playing. I will say that the Iowa State secondary is very experienced and has NFL talent in that secondary. Their linebackers are really young, loaded with freshman and sophomore guys. But it's going to come down to the matchup, their strength versus our strength, our wide receivers versus their secondary. How often are we going to make plays down the field with Andrell Anthony, with Nick Anderson? We know what Stoops is going to do. We know what Jalil Farouk is going to bring to the table. How many big plays can we make and do not shoot yourself in the foot and play ahead of the sticks, fellas? And that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, I agree. If Oklahoma can't get the running game going, especially against a 3-man front, I think the game could get pretty tight. And like you said, I mean, Oklahoma's offensive line has been actually really good in pass protection.
They have.
And I don't think that that's going to be a problem for them this week, especially going against three-man front, like I said. So that leaves it up to Dylan Gabriel. Hey, you got to put the ball on the right place every time with 8 men dropping back when you have, 3 to 4, maybe 5 receivers, pass catchers out there downfield. So I think early, if Oklahoma if Dylan Gabriel can get the ball to the big guys in space, like Farouk, Anderson, Anthony. I think Anthony's our number 1 receiver. If you can get to those guys in space and keep the ball moving and get some points off that, then it can get blown open, early in the third quarter. But if Dylan Gabriel has some bad reads, lets a couple balls get away from him, and get to one of those 8 guys in space for Iowa State's defense, it could definitely get ugly. So that'll be the thing to watch. It's going to be a big game for Dylan Gabriel, and I think he has to make smart decisions, and he has to place the ball accurately downfield and intermediately for Oklahoma's offense to have success.
And we can't do that thing where we give the other team the ball for like 6 minutes at a time and we get the ball back on offense and then we go 3 plays and out quick within like 30 seconds and then give them back the ball. We can't do that because if we do that, we are going to lose. I'm telling you that now. That's how teams like Kansas State hang around. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, that's how they have beat us in the past. And we've seen historically that is how you beat an Oklahoma team, especially at home. You hog the ball, you grind it out, you get some success on offense. Our defense is going to have to show up for that. If our defense can punch them in the mouth and take over early and quick and set the tone, this is going to be a bloodbath, and Oklahoma's going to come out on top by a lot. Or who knows? It could go the other way around, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you guys, this week, I do not want to see freaking reverses that go for -5. I don't want to see screen passes that go for -2. Okay? Yeah, we need to beat them on the outside, but we need to do it from the run game. It starts right there. And also, another thing is, where's Austin Stogner at? We haven't seen much of him, but he's in a role that this week should be a huge week for him, especially with 8 guys in the secondary playing pass coverage, dropping a zone. I mean, sit in a zone, find a soft spot, get the ball, possession, catch it. So, other than that, I mean, what do you guys got as far as prediction?
I think I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to look past Iowa State, but I think Oklahoma's going to cover the spread, and I think they're going to hold Iowa State to 14 points or less. I really do. If the defense can play to how they've been playing the rest of the season. I mean, I see this not being a very close game. I think maybe at the very beginning, Iowa State's going to keep it close and play with their emotions. But unfortunately, you can't play with your emotions the whole game. Skill's going to have to come into it, and I just think I don't see Iowa State pulling this upset off. So I see Oklahoma covering the spread.
Okay.
What
do you think?
I'll say. I mean, I started off saying don't take the spread, so I'm going to stick with that. I'll say Iowa State 14, Oklahoma 31, and I think it'll be a comfortable win. I think Oklahoma will have the lead, pretty early in the second half, and just kind of grind out the clock a little bit. Hopefully with some good intermediate passing, like you said, get Stogner involved. Get him 4 yards here, 6 yards here, keep the chains moving, eat up the clock. So that's where I think it's at. I don't think they cover, but I do think that they win pretty handily, and they save some of their tricks for Texas next 2 weeks from now.
I think that's what they're doing too.
Yeah. So it's not going to be, it's not going to be a blowout, but I think Oklahoma wins handily.
Yeah, I like what you said about getting 6 yards at a time, getting 4 yards at a time, staying ahead of the chains. We're going to see that clock running a lot. Iowa State's going to be the same team. Possession, time of possession, hog the ball. I agree with you on us not covering the spread, but I have OU winning 28-13. I think it's going to be a first half game where it's like offense figured out. And then second half, we start to piece it together. We get some momentum. We punch it in a couple times. So Oklahoma wins it 28-13, in my opinion.
All right.
I guess I'm the only one that disagrees and says it's going to be an ass kicking.
Did you give a score?
I didn't give a score. I say Iowa State scores 10. I say Oklahoma scores 48.
Wow. Okay.
48-10.
I'll take that.
explosive. I would love to see it. I would love to
It's
see
gonna
it.
happen. It's gonna freaking happen. I'm right. These guys
All
are
right.
wrong. We're all Sooner fans, so it doesn't matter. So, does anybody else have anything left?
I'm good.
No. Okay. Well,
Glad it's 5 o'clock, not 11 a.m. kickoff. So.
there you go. With that being said, like, comment, subscribe. Boomer Sooner.
Sooner.